Yep, looks like we're ready to go.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. And today I'd like to call to order the meeting for San Bernardino International Airport Authority. Today is Wednesday, November the 24th, 2021, and it is approximately 3:01 p.m. I would ask our clerk to please do a roll call.
Yes. Please state your name for the record. Members on the line from the city of Colton.
Frank Navarro.
Thank you. Members from the city of Loma Linda.
Dusty Rigsby.
Thank you. Member from the county of San Bernardino 3rd District.
On route.
Thank you. Members from the city of Highland.
Penny Lilburn.
Thank you very much. And members from the city of San Bernardino.
John Valdivia. And Fred Charette.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Is there any comments for closed session this day, Jennifer?
Yes, there are 2 items on closed session this afternoon.
Any public
Comments, I'm sorry. And there are no public comments. I see none here in front of me, nor did I receive any via email.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask our legal counsel to bring us into closed session, please.
Yes, please stay on the
Thank you, Mr.
line.
Mayor. Yeah, before we go into closed session, we have 2 items to discuss. One is conference with legal counsel pursuant to Government Code 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 2, regarding significant exposure to litigation in the case of Center for Community Action versus FAA and the State of California versus FAA. And the second item is conference with real property negotiator pursuant to Government Code section 54956.8 regarding the property known as former Norton Air Force Base, Hangar 763, Base 3 and 4, 255 South, Leland Norton Way, San Bernardino. And with that, we're ready for closed session.
Thank you. Jennifer, would you take care of closed session for myself and whoever else is online?
Yes, please stay on this meeting, and I will go ahead and allow you in the breakout room shortly.
Thank you.
Yes, Jennifer, I can.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you both very much.
We have a confusing listing of calling to order twice, so I guess we'll call ourselves back to order. We came back from closed session. Is there any commentary on the closed session from our attorney?
Scott, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Closed session.
Yeah, is there any reportable action?
No reportable action taken in closed session.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay,
Then
Dusty, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes,
We
thank
haven't
you.
done the Pledge of Allegiance yet.
All right. Okay, we'll reconvene our general session, call it to order. And if I could ask Mr. Figueroa here today?
He is not.
He's not present.
Okay, then I will ask Mayor Valdivia to lead us in the pledge today.
Very good. Please stand.
Thank you, Mayor Valdivia. Are there any items to be added or deleted from today's agenda?
No item, sir.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to conflict of interest. Anybody wishing to disclose a conflict of interest on today's agenda items? Seeing none and hearing none. Moving on to item G, informational items.
Yeah.
Mr. Burrows, you're up first, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. So the first one you've heard before, feeling like a broken record. I won't after tomorrow because it will be over one way or the other. Turkey Trot is tomorrow morning, bright and early. The 10K starts at 7 a.m., 5K just after that. And if you can, call the wind gods out there to calm it down, I hopefully won't be jumping over tumbleweeds. But anyhow, it's a good turnout for the looks of it, and fun event to earn our turkey dinners out there. The next item, I want to have Ms. Casares tell you some good news. She recently returned from an Airports Council International Conference, and Amber, tell us what happened.
Marketing Communications Conference, November 6th and 7th in Reno, Nevada, where San Bernardino International Airport was a finalist in the Excellence in Airport Marketing Communications and Customer Experience Awards. This awards program recognizes, quote, the quality of work, abundance of talent, and creativity within the marketing communications and customer experience fields in the airport industry. San Bernardino SBD International Airport joined over 300 applicants across 19 categories and was awarded the overall Public Relations Program Small Airports for the SBD Good Neighbor Program. Launched in July 2020, this program is a comprehensive, proactive, and informational listening forum designed to educate residents and business owners in the Inland Empire region about the activity at the local airport and instruct pilots operating at SBD on preferred flight procedures. The Noise Management Program has its own branding, a dedicated website, educational videos, quarterly newsletter, social media communications, media outreach, and quarterly reports that are delivered at commission meetings. And this is the award that we received, and I was very honored to receive it in person at this conference.
Good job.
Great job. Congratulations.
So she represented us very well, and appreciate your hard work, and Rosemary as well. She was in attendance too, so.
Cool.
She was in attendance, and she's actually watching the meeting
great.
here, so she's there.
You guys are a good team, so well done.
Okay, so I know I speak for myself and the commission when I extend my gratitude to our staff on the marketing side and the noise and the Good Neighbor program, the noise program, on a job well done, keeping our residents in the area advised and giving them the opportunity to opine on what's going on at the airport and how they feel about the aircraft in the area. So again, thank you, staff. Thank you, Mike. Thanks to everybody that was involved in this. Anybody else can comment?
Congratulations.
Hearing none, we'll move on to item D.
Yes, and this one is good news, I believe. Not new news to all of you, but we, at the federal level, do have an infrastructure bill. There is money for airports and many, many other programs in there. And so Mr. Gibbs and the team and Ms. Beltran are working hard on getting ready to line up, hopefully, a new wave of some airport grant funds. And you've got one of those batches of projects on your agenda a little bit later today, because time is of the essence to make sure these projects are ready to go. And Mr. Barrow can't wait to fill up his calendar even more than it already is in getting these things built. So it's a good problem to have. Mr. Cousineau is not saying a single thing, because this means he definitely looks like he's doing a single audit next year, but he's up for it. So, and then last but not least, Ms. Ferris is looking for some feedback. Obviously, you all are brave commissioners to give us your day before Thanksgiving. We really appreciate all of you. But going into the December meeting, that's right on the heels of Christmas, and traditionally we try to move it up a week if possible, if that works with people's calendars. So Jennifer, any comments?
Nope. just wanted to bring it to the commission's attention. If the majority of members plan to be out of town that week, please go ahead and contact my office so that we can poll members for an alternate meeting date for December.
If you want to hang out on Christmas together, we'll hang out. Anyhow, that concludes my reports.
Mr. Burrows,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, through the chair,
Yes, please.
is the proposed date for December 23rd then, or?
I believe that's the case. Jen?
Currently, it's scheduled for the 22nd, so 2 days
22nd.
prior to Christmas Eve.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like to make a suggestion, maybe that Friday before. I know that that's pretty much the last working week before most people head out. So if, I mean, I'll be here the 23rd or 22nd, but that might be a good alternative for
Alternate.
most members before we all head out for vacation, so. I'll leave it to you and your polling capabilities and capacity. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Just put an email together to the commissioners, give
Yes.
us some dates that
Yep.
we can go through and send them to our schedulers at our individual offices, and then we'll work on it that way, okay?
Certainly, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Burrows?
No, sir.
Okay. Moving on to the commission consent items, commission.
Move for
present to you
approval.
The consent calendar for items 3 through 7.
I'll
Are there any items on the consent calendar to be pulled for separate discussion or separate vote? Seeing none, hearing none.
Mr. Chair,
will
move for
entertain a
approval.
motion to approve consent calendar items 3 through 7.
Move for approval. And I
I have an approval, and I have a second.
Yes.
Mr. Charette?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, if you will please conduct, any public comment on any of these items?
I have no public comments here in the audience, nor did I receive any emailed comments.
Thank you much. Please conduct the vote. Roll call, please.
Yes, I have a motion from Member Valdivia and a second from Member Charette. Members, please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro,
Yes?
Member Rigsby,
Yes.
Member Rao,
Rao, yes.
Member Lilburn,
Yes.
Member Valdivia,
Yes.
and Member Charette.
Yes.
Thank you. The item passes unanimously.
Thank you. On to the commission action items, item number 8. Get to that, please, if you would. Item number 8, Mr. Cosino, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mayor.
This is to consider and adopt a proposed budget adjustments for fiscal year 2021, 2022.
Thank you. This item is for an increase to our annual appropriations for this current fiscal year of $223,000. $169,000 of that is for janitorial services, which is related to agenda item 11. Those increases are the general fund of $53,000, property management fund for $77,500, and the Luxavere SBD FBO for $38,500. Another increase of $54,000 in the capital projects fund for the adding electrical service to 2239 East Perimeter Road, which is this new site of the UAS Center at SBD. And those are the items, and if there's any questions I can ask or respond to, I'd be happy to do so. With that, I would conclude my report and ask that the commission consider and adopt the budget adjustment.
Thank you. Comments or questions of Mr. Cosino from commissioners? Hearing none, seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion to adopt the proposed
Rao
budget
moves
adjustment.
approval.
Thank you, Supervisor Rao. Second, please.
Second. Rigsby, second.
Thank you, Mr. Rigsby. Any public comment on this item, Ms. Ferris?
There are no public comments on this item.
Conduct a roll call vote, please.
Yes. We have a motion from Member Rao and a second from Member Rigsby. Please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro,
Yes.
Member Rigsby,
Yes.
Member Rao,
Yes.
thank you, Member Lilburn,
Yes.
Member Valdivia,
Yes.
and Member Charette.
Yes.
Thank you. The item passes unanimously.
On to item number, item number 9. This is item award construction contract to AEC Moreno Corporation for the UAS Center Administration Building Project in an amount not to exceed $238,081.25. Mr. Jeff Barrow, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Award of the construction contract to AEC Marino Corp. For the UAS Center Administration Building Project in the amount not to exceed $238,081.25. The USA Center Administration Building is located at 294 South Leland Norton Way. This project completes improvements to a portion of the interior of the building, originally constructed in 1991. It has been a number of years since deferred maintenance and repair work has been done to the southerly portion of the facility. Recommended actions: award of construction the contract to AEC Marino Corporation for the UAS Center Administration Building project in the amount not to exceed $238,081.25, and authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute all related documents. Fiscal year.
Thank you. Comments or questions from commissioners? Mr. Barrow, please.
Move for approval.
I have a, oh, go ahead. I have a question whenever you want to.
Go ahead, Ms. Lilburn.
Okay. I just have a quick question. It looks like between the first and second bids are such a big difference.
Correct.
Why is that?
The contractor that is the low bidder has done several projects around the airport. He is a little bit lower on some of his items, but he is willing to honor his contract. And we did go through it thoroughly with the contractor, walked all the items, and he doesn't want to back out on the deal, and he does want to do it. So we are considering using him because he has came and lived up to all other projects he's done around the airport for us.
So, but he has done projects before around, at the airport?
Correct.
Is he local?
Yes, he is. He's in San Bernardino here.
Okay, because he's $200,000 under.
Absolutely. That was our surprise too. Me and Mr. Mike Burrows discussed it. We decided to bring the contractor back out, give him one more shot to look at everything, and he's still willing to honor his contract. He's trying to live up to his reputation with working with us around here. Again, he's done several projects for us, and he's came through for us in the past.
Wow.
So Mayor, what we're seeing in the development community these days, it's pretty strange. And not just us, but many of our private developers are seeing, huge fluctuations in pricing. And it's, thankfully for us, we have a contractor that's willing to hold to his price. In some cases, our private sector partners, they might hold the bid for a couple of days, if that. And so it's a strange environment out there right now on the build side.
Okay. I always just go with that. You get what you pay for. I mean, it's $200,000, but who am I?
Yeah, some of them are adding some serious markup on materials, some aren't. And this gentleman was very open book, which we
Okay.
appreciate.
Move for approval.
I have a motion from Mayor Valdivia to approve item number 9. Excuse me. Chair will entertain a second to the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mayor Lilburn. I have a motion and a second. Any public comment on this item? Jennifer?
There's no public comment, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Would you please conduct the roll call vote?
We have a motion by Member Valdivia and a second by Member Lilburn. Please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes?
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Valdivia?
Yes.
And Member Schrutt.
Yes.
Thank you. The item passes unanimously.
Thank you very much, everybody. Moving on to item number 10. This is an award an up to 60-month contract for hangar fire suppression systems inspection, maintenance, and testing, and establishing labor and part rates for non-routine repairs to VFS Fire and Security Services in an amount not to exceed $482,105. This goes to Nicolas Person.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor. As you stated, the item before you is to award a 60-month contract for hangar fire suppression systems for some of our larger hangars and the pump houses associated and some of the systems that are associated with those. The total not to exceed amount is $482,105, and it would be going to VFS Fire and Security Services. The bid was sent out to 5 companies. 4 attended a job walk, and we did receive 2 responsible bidders. Both Costco and VFS presented bids that were looked at by the committee. VFS was found to be the lowest responsible bidder. The first 4 years remain relatively stable in terms of price, and then you'll see a little bit of an increase there in the fifth year, and that would be represented by the 5-year inspection that is due. The services that are included are weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual, and a 5-year inspection. So that's why the contract would run 5 years. So staff recommends the approval of this item and available for any questions.
Comments or questions from commissioners on item number 10? Seeing none, hearing none. Any public comment? Madam Clerk?
There is no public comment.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion. Approve item number 10. Who was that, please? Charette, thank you.
Rigsby,
Chair will entertain
second.
a second. Mr. Rigsby, thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would please.
We have a motion by
Conduct a
member,
roll call vote.
I'm sorry. We have a member, or a motion by member Charette and a second by member Rigsby. Please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes.
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Valdivia?
Yes?
And member Charette?
Yes.
Thank you. Item passes unanimously.
Very much. Get to the next page here. I'll be right with you. Using multiple devices, so I gotta scroll through one device to get to the. Item 11, thank you. This is to approve an award of an up to 36-month contract for janitorial services with CNA Janitorial Services in a not-to-exceed amount of $992,558. And on this, legal person, please.
Thank you once again, Mr. Mayor. This item is to approve an award of a janitorial services contract with CNA Janitorial Services. They've been a longtime partner of the airport and the IVDA in a not-to-exceed amount of $992,558. In line with SBIAA purchasing policies, we issued an RFP, and we did have one low responsive bidder, which was CNA. These services have remained largely the same as previous contracts. One notable change was we decided to combine our two concurrently running janitorial contracts to receive best pricing for SBIAA. So staff recommends approval of this item. This is again for all 16 SBIAA locations that we are responsible for janitorial.
Mr. Chair, Rao moves approval.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Rao. Chair will entertain a second.
Second, Valdivia?
Thank you, Mayor Valdivia. Any public comment on this item, Madam Clerk?
No public comment.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you would please conduct the roll call vote.
We have a motion by member Rao and a second by member Valdivia. Please state your vote for the record. Member Navarro?
Yes?
Member Rigsby?
Yes.
Member Rao?
Yes.
Member Lilburn?
Yes.
Member Valdivia?
Yes.
And member Charette?
Yes.
Thank you. The item passes unanimously.
Thank you. And I'm scrolling through the many pages here. Give me a moment, please. Thank you.
Might be muted.
Many pages.
He's getting through all of them.
Jennifer, what item are we on, please?
Oh, we are on item number 12.
Okay, item number 12 is the director's reports.
It would be to consider and discuss a report on the status of the green energy element for SBD International Airport.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miriam Beltran. I'm the Manager of Planning and Programs. And earlier this year, Mr. Burrows presented the Commission with the airport's green energy element. This is a plan that's designed to support the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions that cause climate change. And we anticipate that with the implementation of these plans initiatives, it will reduce the airport's carbon footprint and impacts over the years to come. This report today is to provide you with an update on a couple of projects that the airport staff and SBIAA consultants have in progress. So the two projects we're going to highlight in today's report are the Airport Solar Farm Conceptual Design Project and the SCE Make Ready program. For this update, I'd like to introduce Mr. Michael Alawas. He is a SBIAA consultant, and he's also the author of the Green Energy Element. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Miriam. Good afternoon, Mr. President and Commissioners and staff. Today's presentation is a follow-up to the April 28th meeting that we had when we introduced for the first time, the Green Energy Element, as Miriam just mentioned. We'd like to share with you our exciting progress today with you and take any questions you may have at the end of the presentation. Our team is Miriam Beltram, Amber Casares, Jim Harris, and of course, Mike Burrows. Next slide, please. After our initial draft of the Green Energy Element, our marketing department, Amber Casares, converted the document to the airport theme for consistency, branding, and optics. Next slide, please. As we've been working on the plan, the ongoing simultaneous projects, we first focused in on the large project of the feasibility study to maximize a landfill with a solar project. Slide, please. The landfill site covers a large area and has restricted uses, not to allow deep penetration of the landfill membrane, as well as outgassing vents distributed around the site. Our team down-selected from 10 engineering firms to Kimley Horn to perform a design and feasibility study with a goal of reaching 3 megawatts of power or greater. The reason for the 3 megawatt demarcation is for greater leverage in negotiating a power purchase agreement. Also, the study is to provide a feasibility for the project as well as a glare study since we are on an airport. Next slide, please. Kimley Horn has completed their evaluation and will have a final report back to our team the week of the 28th of this month. Anecdotally, the project should come in around between $6 to $9 million. I believe that it will come closer to the $6 million mark. And another $3 million if we were to add battery storage that would allow for a greater return on investment, selling back power during high peak demand hours. Also, the carbon credits currently are selling for about $30 a metric ton and moving higher here in California. This project would offset approximately 94,500 metric tons of carbon annually and should produce a sizable annual return to the airport. The airport is also taking advantage of Southern California Edison's Make Ready, Charge Ready program as part of an ongoing implementation of the Green Energy Element. Next slide, please. SCE has a goal of installing about 38,000 ports in their service area with available funding of $432 million. Our team had selected and applied for 6 charging port station locations in and around the airport, totaling 120 ports. We selected the number of ports, charging ports, based on SCE's calculator that bases the number of ports on the available parking spaces in any given location. Next slide, please. The SCE program will provide the stub outs for the EV stations at their expense, and if qualified, will pay up to $2,900 per port for the hardware and programming that is going to be needed. Through the application process, the airport qualified for not only the infrastructure, but also the full amount of the rebates for the hardware and the programming charges. To qualify, the airport needed to be in an economically disadvantaged community and not be listed on the Forbes 1,000 list of companies. The airport will be required to sign a 10-year rate plan, and there are no minimum vehicle purchases. Slide, please. This chart, all those pretty busy. The chart is an estimate of how the airport could administer the program and pay for it from a financial model. Big driver to pay for the ongoing maintenance and internet interconnection for the data transmission is the low carbon fuel standard credits. The credits only work if we sell electrons. The airport can set its own price for the energy consumed by the consumer. Also, we have not added the capability of advertising revenue at the plug-in port stations in our revenue model. Slide, please. So our goal is and has been to strive for reducing our carbon footprint and at the same time be economically responsible. This concludes my report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Comments or questions from commissioners, if you would please. Seeing none, this is a discussion item.
Mr.
and
President,
Consideration.
Mr. President, if I may, through the
Yes,
chair.
please.
Thank you, sir. My comments are, I like the presentation. However, my position has always been that adjoining an abutting airport property, is it feasible? What I'd like a comparison is the property value. How many acres are we talking about, Mr. Alawas, on the proposed solar project farm?
Yeah, the landfill parcel is 29 acres, but we're only talking about doing the slopes because obviously the up top portion is commercially utilized and leased. So that 3 megs we can get, thankfully, with the engineering scope there. And
So
with the-
unimproved surfaces like the slopes would be
Yeah.
more tailor fit for the solar.
They are because they're kind of unused space and then they could be put to use, but coupling that with battery storage, and to your point, if adjacent owners wanted to tap into that power, that's another revenue source for us, and we are looking at that.
Okay, so this is not to consume or utilize the entire 29 acres. It's only the unimproved portions.
Yeah.
I see. Very good.
And it's a good geographic location for the FAA compliance because it's kind of off the beaten path, doesn't conflict with any aeronautical services. We need FAA to approve the glare study, final, so hopefully with the final report, we've got the final thumbs up and we can bring back some possible recommendations from there.
What's our initial investment in this and what's our residual annuity payment? There was a spreadsheet, but it was more for SCE.
Yeah, it
what's
was
the-
more for the charging stations.
Right.
For this, the best pricing estimate that we saw on the low side is $6 million for the solar, another $1 million for the battery. As Michael said, depending on the tech and the final design, that could increase, but it's about a $7 million build. But if we have other commercial partners that want to utilize the net power, they can be participants, and we are talking to some of the airport tenants about being just that, partners in this and helping finance it.
Mr. Burrows, my recommendation, my strong and hearty recommendation would be that we pick up these infrastructure dollars. The federal infrastructure bill has significant shovel-ready, if these in fact are shovel-ready, perhaps the $6 million on base and the potential for build and design, if it balloons to $9 or $10 million, could it be that we qualify for a shovel-ready project and there are significant billions of dollars? I think it's, what's the number for the infrastructure for airports?
Yeah, for airports, AIP really doesn't have a caveat for this, but Department of Energy did, get considerable funds, and we are very much looking at those sources, to your point, to get grant funds, because that's the other part of this, is you do the conceptual design to get it to a level to hopefully get grant dollars to do this. That's what we're encouraged to do all the time.
Let's use federal dollars. I mean, the Biden administration is very, very focused on green energy jobs, green energy. And so that would be my recommendation as I observe this.
Sure.
So I appreciate it. Thank you for the update.
Mr. Mayor, if I may add, the sides of the landfill can't be built on. It's a cap, and there's also vents around there, so you can't do much with that. And
There's what around it?
There's vents, because landfill, it was outgassing, it doesn't do much anymore, but the vents are still there and it's still regulated by the Air Force. Can't do much with that property anyway, so we're repurposing that and putting value back into it, which is a great thing. And also, we had preliminary talks before we even started this with AQMD as a holistic approach besides this, but also the rechargeable units for the EV stations. They liked our approach. Typically, they don't invest in these types of areas because it's pretty common now. But since it's a more holistic approach, they're willing to look at this and see about getting some grant money to help us with this process.
So to your collective points, we definitely, that's why we have a Ms. Beltran to go get those grant dollars, and we just got to find the opportunity and go for it.
Very good. I want to compliment the staff. Thank you, Mr. Alois, for your steady hand at making sure that this remains as part of a priority for our airport. I want to salute you and your team for making sure that we stay on track. I know that this is a consistent refrain for many of our constituents in the city of San Bernardino, that the airport needs to be a good partner and is part of and congruent with the Good Neighbor program. I think this is a real reason for us to celebrate that the administration, the leadership here at the airport continues to strive for green energy and to make sure that we are consistent and compatible with the growth opportunities. And with the continued efforts of Ford automakers, Rivian, that just came to market about 3 weeks ago, there's new energy opportunities for the electric vehicles. So great job. I really do commend you and thank you for your great work.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a teaming effect, and we have a great team with us, and Mike Burrows allows us to step outside the box and constantly push the envelope. So thank you to the team and Mr. Burrows for that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and again, thank you, sir, for the presentation. And I can see that you guys are looking outside the box just by what you brought forward today. All the detail from the SE spreadsheet, there's a lot of data there. But I'm sure that when you bring this back to us for further analysis or further discussion, that we will be further updated on the emerging technology that's out there that we can take advantage of, along with any future grants from the feds and from the state. Jennifer, could you take the share off, please, on the screen?
I'm sorry?
Sharing the screen still?
Oh, yep.
So we're going to move on to excuse me, item number 13. 13 is review status of the action plan for San Bernardino International Airport Authority through December the 31st, 2021. Mr. Mike Burrows, this is yours.
And I think this will be the shortest report of the day. You heard we've got an infrastructure bill, and we are all going hard and heavy. Thank you for your support in getting us back on the street with our runway and taxiway projects. That will be, a very, very important part of our capital program for years to come. Next meeting, we hope to have our auditors here to present the final audit. Mr. Cousineau and team are working very hard with them on the final drafts, and we'll have a quick highlight on how we're doing progress to date. And that concludes my report.
Okay. On to, excuse me, Commissioner comments? Commissioners wish to comment at this time?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Sir, I wanted to bring to light the importance of the continued efforts and the strategic analysis from our airport with the federal aviation and the federal government. It's important that we consistently apply for and seek out. And so my recommendation is, and strong encouragement, is that we have a project feasibility report so that we can understand and ascertain what are the top 10 projects here that we could apply for the federal government. We need to grab that money down quick. We need to, so that would be my request from staff, is to create a top 10 list and vet that through the commission as to see where exactly we want to fund these, where do we want to apply, and how do we want to pull that money down. So that would be my first request. And my second request for a future agenda item would be the hangar development of property analysis. I'm requesting that our staff prepare a staff report to present to the commission and ensure that we have a project hangar development opportunities. There's increasing capacity here and growth, which is all good news. It's a good problem to have. And so my recommendation and request remains consistent with the hangar development report and update to see where the committee would like to go. And finally, Mr. Chair, I'd like to salute and send my deep appreciation to the Good Neighbor Program, Amber, Rosemary, You've done a fine job, and you really have allowed us to continue to win the accolades necessary to be a competitive front runner in this western region as a small regional airport. And so I want to send my deep appreciation to our marketing team here. I think there's always opportunity for us to grow. And so you'll always get a pat on the back, but you'll also get advice. And I really do appreciate all your hard work, Amber. Thank you very much for your hard work and your diligence in making sure that our airport shines.
Chair,
Yes, go ahead, man.
I just have a comment. I guess for a point of order or clarification, with all due respect to Valdivia, I'm not sure that we have the authority to just start appointing Mike Burrows' work. I think it goes through a direction through our committee and agendize it or bring it to our executive committee or something.
I don't think we're
On
constructed.
the policy.
I don't think we're constructed as an ETAC, but I think these are important points anyway.
And I understand that. Those are your opinions. So I think it needs to come to the entire committee, not John Valdivia's
Penny,
priorities.
respectfully, my three requests remain. I'm a member of this commission.
Okay,
and
Yes,
our-
I understand
And our
that.
city pays dearly to be
Hold
part
on,
of this
hold on.
commission.
Let me interrupt.
And your
So-
point?
Hold on. Point of order, please. Mr. Huber?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Process for bringing items to the agenda, is it done by an individual commissioner, or is it done by executive committee, or by commission as a whole?
So pursuant to the either, and again, I believe that the board that the commission has approved Rosenberg's rules of order, if I'm not mistaken. Although whether it's Rosenberg's or Robert's rules of order, the process is the same. If a commission member requests an item to be placed on the agenda, it requires at least a second from another member. The chair may also place items on the agenda. The executive director may place items on the agenda as well. But if a commission member requests an item, it would require at least a second from another member.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Huber. So my two items that I requested, those are my motions, and I'm seeking a second.
Chair will entertain a second to Mayor Valdivia's recommendations for airport activities. Is there a second?
Anger development.
Well, my personal feeling, well, I'll second it, but the reason is that we hear on a regular basis opportunities for grant funding, and I think just formalizing it is not an extra duty, it's just a compilation of work already being done. And hangar development, I've heard some, thumbnail numbers, but it'd be nice to put those in front of the commission. Just come up with basically tell us what we're up against. No heavy work, but I'll second.
Okay. There's a first and a second. And we'll take a vote on this, Mr. Huber?
No, sir. If you have a first and a second, then it will come back on a future agenda.
Okay.
Pursuant to the request.
Thank you very much. So, okay, the request has been made, first and seconded. So, Mike, you have some homework?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from commissioners, please?
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very
And
much.
good luck at
Everybody have
the
a happy
turkey trot,
Thanksgiving,
Mike.
and
I know
Mr.
you've been promoting that
Mr. Chair, if I-
so much because you usually
I'd like
win,
to
right?
regress on the agenda for a moment and ask the clerk, was there any public comment today?
Excuse me, Mr. President, there is no public comment
Thank
for
you
the
very much.
remainder of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Therefore, being no other business to attend to for the San Bernardino International Airport, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe out there. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
I'm waiting for the tofurkey truck.